Well, I come from Tanzania, from the Maasai tribe, and I was a nomad. I was a Maasai shepherd before I went to school. And I went to school at a time when the government had to force the Maasai to educate children. And they forced every family to at least send one child to school. And I was the one who was selected from among my 6 siblings to go to school from my family. And the rest is history. I went through elementary school, I went through high school, I went home and became a Maasai warrior for a number of years before I went to college. Then I became a Christian while I was in high school, and I was the only one in the whole area of Longido who was getting a college education. The elders said, we need Stephen to run because we need someone educated. And my brother, who was a local leader at the local level, said, no, he's a student. You can't ruin a young man's life by taking him out of college to run for politics. So I got away that year. Another round of election came, and I still had opinion leaders pointing fingers that Stephen should be our leader. And that time I had a tragic event where my first wife died, and I was unmarried, and I was actually in the mourning stage. So I wasn't complete. And that was a good excuse for people to leave me alone. And 5 years later, which is now this year, they asked me again that we really want to approach you because you know you'll never offer yourself to say I'm coming to run like everybody else. And I told people, instead of fighting you to say, because I have no excuse, the best thing we can do is to pray. Anybody who wants me there, if you believe in God, you really need to pray because I need to be convicted. And I'm going to be praying too. So we went on a fast with my wife. We fasted for 40 days. We prayed. I walked along the beach and prayed. And I was asking God, if you have a way to confirm that this is from you, please show us any sign that we can trust, and when any people come to ask me to run for this position, then I should have the confidence to say yes. If it is not from you, take it away, Lord, and let nobody ever come to ask me to run, because I will not volunteer myself to go to ask to run for office. I met the senator, I met so many political and church leaders and other civil leaders in the community and church members who were very encouraging. They prayed for me and they gave me counsel and they gave me some good advice. When I went home in the beginning of this year, the coming of the elders, I didn't plan for it. So the 30 chiefs came, and they were followed by deputies and other people who were interested, and we counted 222 people. And instead of just a casual 1-hour meeting where we made a lot of tea for everybody to be happy, it lasted for the whole day. So we had to actually bring some goats and slaughter and sodas and water, so it became a celebration. When I said, yes, I guess I have to tell you that I have been praying, and since you feel like God has also asked you to tell me to run and I cannot run away from this, I'm saying, yes, help me God, and you help me to get there, because I have no means. It was a very humble experience, because I never thought I had a calling to be a politician. And regardless, the people thought they saw a leader in me that I wasn't aware that I am. So it was humbling. I felt honored that people saw me and thought of me as their potential leader. Most of the prominent, even prophets in the Bible, they didn't pick themselves to become prophets. God called them. I've never seen myself as an eloquent speaker, someone who will make a great speech maker. And I knew I don't have that gift, but I remember Moses and how God called him, and when he said he does not even know how to speak. He was approached in a burning bush, and he was called, and he responded. God told him he will show and tell him how to speak. So the whole story of Moses has been speaking to me. So I really searched scriptures, and I just know God uses people to call other people, and that's how I found my faith to be leading me to accept this calling. And I took it all by faith, because I have no experience in politics. And I know politics may not be the cleanest arena, but I said, regardless, if God is with me, I have nothing to fear for. Just like Joshua, he was told when he was called to lead after Moses, be not afraid, be courageous, and the Lord will be with him. I believe he's with me too. Gospel of John chapter 10. From verse 14 to 16, where Jesus talks about him being a good shepherd, and a good shepherd would lay his life for the sheep. And I was a shepherd, and I know the love of the shepherd to the sheep. So that's the kind of love that encourages me to know that Jesus is my shepherd, and Jesus has already laid his life for me, and I am not afraid also to continue to be a shepherd of other people and be sacrificial by doing all it takes to help them grow spiritually and in the world of development and social well-being.